Hello everyone, welcome back to the hopefully final episode of creating our solar system project. We've got all of our planets created, and all of them are textured. All of them are properly named inside of our outliner here. We just got to create some animations to get this thing all spinning. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our sun here, and our sun is going to be kind of the parent that's going to cause everything to circulate. So I'm going to first kind of just add some animation to the sun itself. So looking down here at our timeline, we have frame 1 all the way to frame 120. I'm going to hit S on frame 1. That will keyframe all of the channels for the sun over here. So on frame 1, I'll hit S, and you'll see that all the channels here turn red. Now, don't panic. That is what they're supposed to do. When you see red channels, that's all that means is that there's animation information on those channels. So going forward from frame 1, we're going to go to frame 120, and we want our sun to rotate on, I think it's the y-axis. Yes, okay, of course, the y-axis. So we're going to, let's say our sun is going to do 2 full rotations over 120 frames. So we'll say it 720 degrees rotation on the y-axis. I entered that in there, and I don't have to hit S again. If you saw that, like, you have a keyframe just automatically appeared down here on the timeline, it's because I have this key right here, right next to the character set, turned on. If you turn this off, it'll be grayed out. And anytime you enter in new values in here, you'll have to hit S to rekey in the information. If you turn this key on, every time you make a change on an animated object, wherever frame you're on, excuse me, it'll automatically record that information in there for you. So I leave this on. For a new animator, this may be a little bit of a dangerous thing for you. You may end up accidentally overriding some animations that you created previously. But if you feel brave and you want to go ahead and plug forward and not have to hit S every time you want to add in a new keyframe, go ahead and activate this one here. This isn't a requirement. It's just something I do in my workflow. So now if you look back at frame 1 and we scroll forward, you can see that now we have some animation information, and the sun rotates 120 degrees. Now, one thing I want to kind of point out is that if you watch the play, or if you press play here, you'll see that it starts out kind of slow, and then it speeds up, and then it gets to frame 120, and it slows down again. And that's because Maya likes to do exponential ease in, ease out type of interpolation between keyframes. So we're going to go to our graph editor, and we're going to break the tangents on our curve here to make it to where we have a linear transformation or rotation. So this icon over here it looks like it's got a little grid here, and it's got a little curve for the graph. That'll open up a 2-panel window, and now we have our graph editor here, and we have our viewport up here. So we can see that we have our curve for our sun right here. So you hit F, frame that in. So you can see how there's this ease in, ease out. We're going to want to make it to where this is linear. So we're going to select those little black dots, just do a little marquee box, and it's just left mouse button dragging to get these little black dots. Those are our tangents, and these little guys here on the side are our tangent handles. So if you if you highlight one and you left mouse button drag on it, you can adjust the tangents on these curves to where they ease in and ease out differently. We want it to be linear, so we're going to select this one on this side, and this line right up here with the little tangent dot at the top, that will break the tangents. I'll say linear tangent is what it says on there, but it breaks the tangent on this side. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We'll select that tangent handle and break it with this, and now we have a linear rotation. So now it'll start and go at the same speed the entire way, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. Alright, so I'm actually going to lengthen this out just a little bit. 120 frames doesn't quite seem enough, so I'm going to change how long my my timeline is. Right now it says 120. I'm going to bump that all the way up to 200. I'll select this little keyframe here. So what I just did here is I just held down Shift, left mouse button dragged over the keyframe that I wanted to move. And then you'll see these two little yellow arrows right here. If you left mouse button click right in the middle there, you can drag this keyframe you just added all the way over frame 200. And now we have a little bit slower of a rotation. It doesn't go quite as fast. I think that's what I want. Okay. So jump out of the graph editor, just put my mouse over here inside the 3D viewport, hit spacebar, and it'll open that up to full view. Okay, so now I want to get Mercury here spinning around the sun. So easiest way to do that is to simply just, it doesn't have any moons, so we're just going to parent this guy in with the sun. So what will happen is when the child is parented into the sun, what happens with the parent trickles down to the child. So since the parent is rotating and we parent in our child, which will be Mercury, it'll cause Mercury to rotate around the sun. So to parent in, is all you have to do is select the child first, shift select the parent, and hit P. Now it goes automatically back to the child, so it looks like nothing really happened to begin with. But if you select the parent, you'll see that all of his children will light up green as well. So we have the sun here, and now we also have Mercury. This is a child of the sun, so it lights up green too. So the idea behind the parent-child relationship is, like I said, when the parent moves, the child moves too. But the child can also be animated individually to rotate all by itself. So we can cause Mercury here to have its own rotation. So we can say that I want Mercury from frame 1. I'm going to keyframe it, hit S, and I'm going to say from frame 1 to frame 200, I want it to do, let's say, 3 rotations, so 900 degrees in the Y. So I'm just going to enter a value of 900 degrees in the Y, hit enter. My keyframe down here is on, so it automatically entered a keyframe for me. So now you can see that as it's going around the sun, it is also rotating. It's a little hard to see just because it's so small. Let me frame in here a little bit and see how it's rotating. There we go. Perfect. All right, so let's move on. You know what? Let's give this guy a little bit bigger of a value. I think that 900 isn't quite enough. I think we need to really get this guy going around because we want to slow the rotation and have these guys all pull away from each other. So let's put in a value of 2000. Okay. No, I'm sorry. 900 is okay. I was getting ahead of myself. I'll back up just real quick here. Open up my outliner here. So that's all it is. Click this one here that has what looks like little lines on the side and then the viewport on the right side. So I can see that inside my sun here, I have my Mercury is now inside there, and you can see there's a little plus minus sign. It'll expand and retract it. What I want to do is I want to drive some more animation of this thing going around the sun. So 2 loops going around the sun isn't quite fast enough. I need it to go around the sun more. So the way I'm going to do that, because right now if you look at Mercury, its rotation is at its center, which is exactly where we want it to be for it to rotate itself. But to rotate itself faster around the sun, we need to change its pivot point from where it's currently located back to the world axis, which is right in the center of the sun. So we're going to create a group for our Mercury here. So we're going to hit, with our Mercury selected, we're going to hit Control G, and then we're going to call this one GRP Mercury. GRP is just naming convention for groups. Okay. So now I have this group that Mercury's in. If you look, the group rotation is back at the world axis, which is what we want. It's the reason why we created the group. If you open up Further inside the outliner, you can see that if you click on Mercury, its rotation jumps back to Mercury. But we're using the group now to drive its animation so we can get it going faster around the sun. So back on frame 1, with the group selected, we're going to hit S. Make sure it's the group selected because that's what we're trying to drive more animation into. Then we're going to go to frame 200 and we're going to enter in a value of 1000. Okay. So now Mercury is really cooking around the sun. Look how fast she's going now. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to move on. We got more planets to do, but this is all going to kind of just trickle down. We're gonna basically be rinsing and repeating the same process all the way through. Just got to remember though, we're gonna, as we go forward, we're gonna want to keep trickling down the amount of rotation we're going down, so that all these planets aren't following like a stick going around the sun. We want all of our planets to spin off on their own speed going around the sun. So right now we have 1,000 degrees for rotation Y. Is what I'm going to do is I go outwards. I'm just going to knock off 100 degrees of rotation for each one of these groups. So the next one I will knock down from 1,000 down to 900 degrees. So the next one is Venus. Venus, I will keyframe all by itself to begin with. So I'll hit S, go to frame 200. I'll add in my 900 degrees rotation, which isn't realistic. They're going to obviously rotate a lot more than 3 times as it goes around the sun, but I just want to get some spin all by itself. So its own individual animation based on its own axis. So accuracy really isn't important to me. It's more about just understanding or portraying how the concepts work, how different objects access points drives animation. So anyways, back to what I'm talking about here. We got Venus. I got some rotation on Venus. You can see that it's rotating all by itself. Now I need to get this guy into the sun, so I'm going to parent Venus into the sun. So I'll got the child selected, shift select the parent, hit P. Now as it goes around the sun, it pulls away really fast because it doesn't have a group yet driving it. So Mercury's already getting ready to lap it. So I'm going to go back. We'll select Venus. I'm going to hit Control G. Now Venus, if you look inside your outliner, is inside of a group. We'll go ahead and rename the group to GRP. Venus. Hit Enter. Okay, so now I just need to drive Venus with its group. So we had it at 1,000 degrees for Mercury. So now we're going to do 900 degrees for Venus. So on frame 1, with the group selected, I'm going to hit S. I'll go to frame 200. And I'm going to enter a value of 900 degrees inside the rotate Y. Okay. Automatically put that keyframe in there for me because I have this key activated. If I didn't, I'd have to hit S just as a reminder for you guys. Okay, so now if I hit play, it looks like they're tracking pretty well with each other, but Mercury is pulling away, which is what we're after. Okay. Let's go back. Alright, so the next one was Earth. And we're going to do the same thing we did with everything else. So we're going to keyframe the Earth to begin with, give its initial rotation. Hit S. I'm going to go to frame 900. I'm going to enter a value of 900 into the Y or rotate. Okay, so now as I go forward, I can see that the Earth is spinning. Perfect. Alright, so the Earth is a little bit different than the other two because the Earth has a moon, which is what most of them will have going forward. So now we need to do kind of like what we did with the sun, but with the moons. So we're going to select each moon. We're going to shift select the planet it's attached to. We're going to hit P, so the moon is the child. So shift select the parent, which is the Earth. Hit P. So now, as the Earth rotates, the moon is going around it. Good. Now we just need to parent the Earth in with the sun. So we select the Earth. The child automatically highlights up, so we don't have to shift select the child as well. All we have to do is parent the Earth, and it'll take the moon with it. So I'm going to select the Earth, shift select the sun, hit P. So now the Earth is now going around, and you can see that the moon is also orbiting the Earth as it's going around the sun, which is what we want. Good. Now we just need to drive a little bit more speed into it. So we're going to create a group for the Earth. So we're going to select the Earth by itself, not the moon, the Earth. Hit Control G, rename it, GRP Earth. Good. Okay, so now we're going to drive the group. So we're gonna, the group's still selected. We'll hit S on frame 1, go to frame 200, and I'm going to enter in a value of 800 in the Y. Okay. Again, I don't have to hit S because I have my key over here activated. Just put it in there for me. So now as the Earth's going around, you can see that it's pulling away, and it's got the moon orbiting it as it's going around the planet or around the sun. Perfect. Okay. Going down the line, we're going to continue the same process. We got our next victim here, which is going to be Mars, and Mars has 2 moons. So I'm going to start out by animating Mars. So I'll hit S on frame 1. I'll go to frame 200. Enter a value of 900. And Mars has 2 moons, so I got to parent both of them in. So I'm going to select one moon, shift select the other one, hit P. Select the other moon, shift select Mars, hit P. So now if I select Mars, I got Mars and both its children. And if you scroll through your timeline, just left mouse button dragging down the timeline to scrub. You can see that it's rotating around. Okay, so now we need to add in a lower value. Well, we have to create a group with a lower value than these other 3. So we have Mars. We're going to hit Control G, create a new group. Oops, let's back up. I forgot to parent Mars in. So we have Mars first. Going to shift select the sun, hit P. Now Mars is part of the sun. Now we just need to Control G to create a group for the Mars, and call that one GRP Mars. And if you guys aren't using the outliner, you guys can go ahead and just select it over here in the channel box, rename it. Just be careful when you do it inside the attribute editor, because sometimes the attribute editor has more than one object in here. Like if you go in here and you're trying to change the shape nodes, those names don't always translate up. So channel box, okay to rename in. Outliner, okay to name in. Stay away from the attribute editor when it comes to renaming so you don't have any accidents. Okay, so we got our group for Mars, and we need to animate it. So we got to, on frame 1, hit S, and we need to put in a value, I believe was, let's see here, 10, 9, 8, we're on 700. Okay. There we go. Perfect. All right, moving down the line. Our next victim here. Got Jupiter. We don't want Saturn's moons, but okay. So Jupiter's animation all by itself first. We're at on frame 1, hit S. On frame 200, we're going to enter a value of 900 in the Y. So now you can see that Jupiter is spinning. Now we just need to get Jupiter's moons in on the act. So we'll select each one of the moons. You can select all the children and shift select the planet last and hit P, and it'll still work the same. You can see that over here, Jupiter's on top. If you open up the outliner, all of its moons are on the inside. It's perfect. Okay. So now if you scrub through the timeline, you see that all of its moons are orbiting around Jupiter. Okay, so now we just got parent Jupiter in with the Sun, so we'll shift select the Sun with Jupiter selected here, and we'll hit P. So now Jupiter's in on the act. We just have to create a group for Jupiter and drive the group. So we'll select Jupiter, hit Control G, rename the group GRP Jupiter. Okay. Now we just got to drive the group. So we're going to hit S on frame 1. Got our value of 600. And then rotate Y. There's Jupiter over there somewhere. Okay. Alright, that's all looking good. Everything's spinning apart exactly the way we want it to. It's good. Alright, so moving on down the line here, we got Saturn's our next victim. Okay, so we need Saturn to spin, and we're going to go ahead and frame 1, just rinse and repeat in here, go into frame 200, adding a value of 900 degrees. And now we're going to deal with all Saturn's children, which is the ring and all of its moons. So we'll just shift select the ring, each one of its moons, not Saturn. There we go. And then we'll shift select Saturn last, and we'll hit P. So now everything is now parented underneath Saturn. You can see it over here in the outliner. That's the way we want it. So now we just got parent Saturn in with the Sun. So we're going to go ahead and shift select the Sun, hit P. So now Saturn is part of the Sun. Saturn is now moving around the Sun like everything else. Okay, so now we just need to create the group for Saturn. So I will hit Control G with Saturn selected, rename the group GRP Saturn, enter. Now we just got to animate Saturn moving forward. So we'll hit S for the group. So now we got animation information. Go to frame 200. We're now moving down to 500 degrees rotation. So now Saturn is doing its part. It's whipping around the Sun. Everything's starting to pull apart, get into its own orbit. Good. Alright, we're getting there. Alright, well, we're at 22 minutes. I'm going to have to break this one off here. We'll do the last 3 planets on the next lesson, and we'll also do the Play Blast video on the last lesson. So stop it here. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.